Hello everyone, Master Ken Blumrich here. This is form Mandam, the 10th form in the Kakido Colored Belt form series. This is for red stripes, testing to red belt. This is our third video of this form. The first video just went over basic footwork. The second video, broad movements. This is our refinement and fine-tuning video. And this one will troubleshoot some common problems, talk about some of the distancing aspects of the form, what you can do to make certain that you're not taking up more space than what you want to, and just provide some general tips to bring the form up another notch or two. This is intended to bring you to a 7 or an 8 on that 10-point scale. All right, I want to start by talking about hand position on the staff. Get in the habit of trisecting your staff. I have my hands in a position where it's dividing the staff into thirds, roughly. Now, in this particular stick, you can't see it. There's a seam right here that I can use to kind of determine where the exact center point of the staff is. Until you're fully comfortable with your bow staff, it's not a bad idea to mark the center line. It'll make maintaining your proper grip a little bit easier. All right? When I walk, I have the stick tucked underneath my right arm. That keeps it mostly vertical so that I'm not walking around like this and hitting someone behind me. Here. When I come to attention, I'm going to kind of unwind from that walking position. I let the top part of the stick drop down into my hand and then just pull it to the shoulder. The thing that you can practice to get to this point, start with the stick trisected, hands on the 1/3 and 1/3, and then bring the left side of the stick straight up to the ceiling, pull your hands in, and now you're in the proper attention position. We'll bow, move number 1 and number 2. I step out with my left foot, and this is a slow motion with a little bit of tension. Press. Someone is up close to me and I am pushing them away. That makes them angry. They come in with a front snap kick, and I am snapping down to block. As a reminder, guys, you can see the applications for all of our forms on kakidomartialarts.com, and particularly for the more advanced forms, that's a really useful tool so that you know exactly why you're doing what you're doing. That will tighten up a lot of mistakes, so make sure to check that out. All right, so that's 1 and 2. For number 3, I'm going to start by reversing my right hand. You'll notice that I'm not changing position on the stick. I'm not moving over to here or over to here. I am just coming right underneath where I was. And now I'm going to power it down, clavicle strike. Common issue here is not letting it catch onto your left hip. A lot of people will do this on this side, which is awkward. Here, number 3. Number 4, reverse my right hand, slide back, and now in order to get some power on this, I pull the stick in as I'm sliding back so that I can pop it out. So it's less of just kind of gliding into position and more of a draw back and pop so that you get some power into that technique. Number 4. Number 5, transitional flow stance, drop it to my right hip. Step out into my deep left front stance and poke. When you are poking, take care to keep the stick parallel to the ground as much as possible. It's not a swoop like this, it's driving straight. Kind of like when we're talking about side thrust kicks, shoot your leg down the pipe, pull it back, don't ever hit the sides of the pipe. Poke. Let's see, we were on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, done in rapid succession, making certain to execute some body conditioning. I want the non-striking portion of the staff to impact my ribs. So, 6, 7, 8. And all of those are catching underneath the arm, not over the arm. Number 9, anytime that I do a 180-degree turn in this form, I put a little bit of a flourish on it. I do a transitional one-legged stance where I actually come up like this, chamber, set down and poke. Again, I just feel like it gives a little bit more snap to the form. All right, so I've poked. This is number 10. I'm going to step forward, reverse sides, poke for 11. 11 through 17 are referred to as theory. In weapons form, theory is a series of movements that are either traditional or naturally flow from each other. Theory for Kikido, for bow staff, is poke, clavicle, poke, groin, poke, 1, 2, 3. So 11 through 17 is the theory for bow staff for Kikido. 11, 12 to the clavicle, draw back, 13, poke. 14 to the groin, and I'm letting it come all the way onto my shoulder, draw back, poke. 15, snap to the temple, catching it on the outside of the arm. 16, snap to the temple, catching it on the outside of the arm. And 17, snap to the temple, catching it on the outside of the arm. Here is the common mistake that a lot of people make on this. I want to be close enough so that you can really see. They'll get the first part, and then instead of here, 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 they will have here, here, here. Remember that you want the tip of the staff to actually be targeting the temple, which means you have to go far enough that it would make contact. If I do that, which is a really exaggerated wrong way of doing it, I'm not coming anywhere close to where I need to be. But even if I'm going a little bit further, like there, 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 it's not far enough. The tip of the staff should basically end up in the same spot on each of those strikes. All right, so that's number 17. I'm at an angle. From here, my left hand comes underneath. So I've gone from this tucked position with a bent wrist, come underneath. Again, I'm going to do my transitional one-legged stance, set down, power down into number 18. Make certain that you're coming to your right hip. A lot of people on this one will do to the left hip. Much more comfortable and correct on the right. 18, aya. 19, reverse my left grip. Just like number 4, I'm going to draw back so I can get some pop on that box block. 19. 20, step up, chamber to the left hip, and step out with the right foot. Midsection poke. All right, 21, 2, 3. Low, body conditioning against the ribs. Middle, body conditioning against the ribs. High, body conditioning against the ribs. That's 23. I'm going to move a little bit so that I've got room for the next sequence. 24, turn and poke. The next moves, in order to smooth them out, here are the places where you want to be considering how you move. I'm going to start by underhooking with my right hand, and I use that position to kind of flick the staff into my first series of figure eights. So from here, I am underhooking, stepping forward, flicking the stick. 1, 2, 3. I want to make certain that I let it come to the point where my palm is upward. This is our transition point at the end of each of these 3 series of figure eights. I'm going to catch underneath, continue forward, 4, 5, 6, and again, I've let my palm come up. Now on this next move, we're up to move number 31 here. I'm not going to catch and continue the figure eights. Instead, I'm going to put my hand in place to stop the figure eights. The way that this looks, when you tie it all together, underhook, 1, 2, 3, smooth, 1, 2, 3, and it stops. Okay? Note that I am pulling a reaction hand when I am doing the figure eights. If I'm doing them with my right hand, my reaction hand will either be here, or here, or here, or something else that's intentional. Don't let it just hang there limp. Do something with it. All right, a lot of talking in this. First series of figure eights, 1, 2, 3, catch, 4, 5, 6, stop, catch, reverse left hand grip, 31, step forward and poke. For 32, we don't have to worry about this in here. Our ceiling is like 14 feet or 12 feet. Make sure that if you're not familiar with your surroundings, you always check to see how much clearance you have on this next one, because technically it is raising the stick really high, stepping forward, and then powering down at an angle. And if you've got 9-foot ceilings or 8-foot ceilings, you've really got to make some changes. In those cases, that's fine. Just take it a little bit more to the side. Right? But if you've got the room, go ahead and really power it down. Hi-yah, 32. It's coming at an angle, big chop. 33, drawing to my one-legged stance, my left hand is essentially a rising section block over my head. My right hand is just balancing the bow staff. I'm going to come up closer so we can see hand position, specifically that bottom hand. You'll notice that it's just resting on my hand. I don't have my fingers here. I want you to imagine while you're doing this that someone takes another stick and runs it down the top of your bow staff. It shouldn't hit your fingers. Your fingers should be clear. So I'm just resting it there. 33, one-legged stance with a modified box block. 34, all right, I'm gonna walk through this. I'm gonna refer to the yellow tip on the stick, and then we'll talk a little bit about some things that you can do to smooth out this helicopter sequence. By the way, it's called a helicopter sequence because it spins overhead. An airplane propeller spins in front. If you hear propeller, it's going to be, more like one of these. If you hear helicopter, it's going to be something that goes overhead like that. Starting with the marked side on my left. So marked side is high. I set down, draw my right hand in directly to the middle of the stick, palm towards me. I'm going to step around with my left, and as I do that, I'm going to turn the stick so that my palm is away from me. And that's going to happen simultaneously. Now I'm going to continue that motion. Currently, the marked tip is on my right-hand side. I'm going to let the unmarked tip move to my right, continue that circle as I pass behind my back. I am trying as much as possible to keep the stick parallel to the mat. Right? I don't want it to start spinning this way. I want it to be spinning overhead. Release with my right hand. Bring the marked tip further out towards the left, around in front, bring it to the right. I'm going to put the back of my right hand against the staff, and I'm going to let it turn into my grip. So now I've got my palms towards me, arms kind of crossed, with my right arm in front, like this. I'm going to continue my footwork all the way around to right here. Release with my left hand. The marked side of the stick continues rotating. The unmarked side is now on my left, and I'm going to snap that down into position here. All right, so I've got the marked side against my back, the unmarked side forward. Note the position of the stick. Slight upward angle or parallel, not tilted down. 36. 37, I almost kind of drop it into this hand. You'll notice that my grip is real loose. This is not I gotta hold on in this weird awkward position. This is a smooth transition. It comes right into place for that poke. All right, before I move on, I want to talk about that helicopter spin and how to practice it. The biggest issue that people have is not keeping the spin parallel to the ground. The way that you can fix that is by practicing in place close to the ground. I'm going to start out on my knees. I am here. To there. When I get comfortable with that, I'll drop my rear onto my heels. I'm taking care not to let the stick hit the ground or scrape across the ground. If I can do it like that, I will sit all the way down flat. Here. And if you can do that, that's as far as you really need to go there. I haven't yet figured out how to do it laying down entirely. 36. 37, 38, nunchuck pass, poke. 39, sweep their legs. 40, strike to the temple. I want to explain what we're doing there. A lot of people sweep and then power down, because that happens at the end of the form. In this particular case, I want you to think that you went for their ankle and they lifted their foot up. Boom, you miss. They set their foot down, snap right back into position for that strike to the temple. So here, right back to there. All right, the next part, I'm going to move back a little bit so you can see the footwork clearly. From right here, I'm doing my connecting front snap kick. landing forward, stepping behind, and poking. This is the part of the form where you can adjust your positioning tremendously. If I am not covering enough distance, that is an easy solution. If I'm not covering enough distance and I want to cover more, I can step slightly through on my front snap kick. I can put that foot down far. I can take a big step here, and then I can step behind, and I've covered twice as much distance as normal and 4 times as much distance as if I really want to crunch it up. If I don't have a lot of space, I'm doing this in tight quarters, there's people around me, from here, I'll do my connecting front snap kick and not really move very far forward with it. I'll set that foot down. I'll take a very small step with my right foot, and then I can still step deeply into that step behind cross stance without necessarily covering a lot of ground. If you are having trouble ending up where you started, this is the portion of the form where you can correct that. All right, so 43, and again, get it tucked under the arm. Common problem is letting it limp like this or up to the outside like this. Roll it into place. 43, one-legged, just like on the other side. Note hand position here. Not here, here. 44, set down. I'm going to draw in a little bit, and again, that's to get more pop. Now 45 is a down block, and I'm going to swing inward and come around. And I want to really demonstrate the hand position for that. Here's what I'm doing. I'm in that high section. I open up my right hand. I bring the left side of the stick forward. I continue that rotation. My right hand is staying open, pressed against the bow staff the entire time, and then coming into position low like this. So my palm is on the back of the stick. All right? This is important because theoretically, what we're blocking here is something that's coming in to strike our leg. I want my hand to be braced on this side, both because it keeps my fingers out of the way, and also because the force of the blow that I am blocking is traveling in this direction. If I have this grip instead, and the stick blocks on that side, it pops out of my hand because it's just my thumb holding it in place. I want to rotate all the way over onto the other side so that my palm is bracing against the stick. Now, this was, let me see, 43, 44, 45. 46 and 47 are normally tied together pretty tightly. It should look like that. That's 46 and 47. I'm going to break it down a little bit more. I start by just unwinding number 45. I'm in a transitional high section blocking position, hands trisecting the staff. Now from there, I'm going to step forward. As I do that, back of my left hand goes against the stick. I rotate the stick into my left hand. Then I release with my right hand and resume my normal grip. So from here, I essentially went one full circle overhead. All right? Now there's different ways to do this. Some schools will do a half circle instead. At our school, we do a full circle. From here, I do the same thing that I did on the other side, which is open up my left hand, bring the right side of the stick around, left side comes down with the palm of my left hand against the stick as I step forward. So now I'm doing that same low section block, but it's in a left front stance instead of a right front stance. Okay? So on the right hand side, here, on the left hand side, here. And just practicing this movement will help you smooth out those blocks. And we take it all the way back to 43. 44, high section, open up hand. 45, palm out, low section. 46, full circle overhead. 47, palm out, low section block on the left. 48, bring the stick right back to my right hip, closed stance. Step forward, kneel down. My knee should be basically right where I started the form if I got all of my distancing correct. 48, poke up to the throat. Common mistakes here. Poking too low, or doing this swing up, drive straight. There. Okay, this is 48 to the throat. 49, sweep their legs. This time, they didn't get their foot out of the way. They fall down. 50, power down, aye. And then left foot returns. 51, 52. When I come back to attention, all that I have to do from here, leave my hands in this position, bring my left hand to my right shoulder, and I'm already at attention. I bow. Now when I walk with the stick, let me show you what I do to get into walking position. Here's my attention position. When I walk, I'm going to relax my left hand, push the stick all the way around until it's in my armpit, and then lower my right arm. All right, so now I'm in a safe walking position. Mon Num, 10th form, red stripe to red belt, third video.